cute. I
This
like
is
the
I just got out of this.
I just got out of the shower. Look.
You can hear me now, right?
I can hear you.
Rita? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
I just got out of the shower because it was one of those mornings where, you know, you're dreaming about your alarm going off, and you're dreaming that you didn't hear your alarm go off, but you're hearing your alarm going off.
Wow.
I have a new hate. Do you know Dave Brannigan?
I know that name.
Old
Yeah.
school whistler guy?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he's going to stay with me for a few weeks.
Oh, okay.
So we got home at 1:30 and just started talking. And I'm on this trying to finish the presentation. And I'm like, an hour later.
You're like, I want to go to sleep now.
I'm like, no, I want to finish my project and go to sleep.
Hello, the Whistler.
Oh, good morning,
Hi,
Kathy. How
good
are you?
morning, Kathy.
I have to show you guys this. This is my favorite piece of artwork. Second favorite piece of artwork in Whistler. Probably one of. This bear. I don't know if you can see it. Might have to get really close. It's got a shine on it, doesn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I've
Coating.
seen those out there. Beautiful.
Yeah. The other one, my favorite, is in the Whistler Conference Center, and it's a charging bear. And it's absolutely stunning as well.
Wow.
Okay, we have to move our chairs. Okay, well, first of all, we are recording. So, everyone, we are recording. Thank you for looking fabulous. I'm going to.
I forgot that part.
I've got my morning look on.
Well, actually, I don't have my glasses on yet, so y'all look even better.
Y'all.
Y'all.
That's an American ism.
I've been hanging out with too many people with too many accents. The gym is a cesspool of accents. It's absolutely crazy. So, welcome and thank you for showing up to the Coffee House Network, where you can get online from anywhere. So I heard from Elaine, which is so cool. I haven't heard from her in a while. We've got some people that are headed, and Jen said she might even try one Friday from Bogota in South America. So the whole idea of doing this is that no matter where people are, they can hop online with us and chit chat. And as more, my goal also, if you can help me, is to get 1,000 people on the meetup right away. So my goal by the end of the month is get enough people, get 1,000 people on it, because it'll just give it more credibility instantly. I was going through some other meetups that have been around for like a couple of years, and they've got 100 people or 200 people. So if you guys can help me share that link, that would be awesome.
So how do we invite people to join the meeting? Go on Facebook?
Go to the for now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll upgrade that as we go. There is a group in Mighty Networks.
In Mighty Networks,
which
that's where we go.
I will eventually send out the link for that. And then there also is just on the ladies' meeting, just /coffee. Because there's an amazing, if you get a chance to watch the TED Talk on there, it's right at the bottom. It's so great, because coffee houses did not used to let women in, right? And he goes through the whole biology, basically, of how coffee shops started. And a lot of those coffee shops still exist in the One of them is now a Starbucks. So I'm really done with TED Talks and TEDx's. So it was nice to find one that was applicable to me. So each week, and it's also for me to set a goal to do one bit of training each week. So this one that I've done for today is tagged on to the last 2 weeks. I did one with Anita and did a side project with Adam that you'll see on the video. Well, it's not a video. I'm just doing screenshots today. And I'm just building on that, and it'll just eventually become a whole course, which will be kind of fun. So the idea is we just start with introducing everybody how your day is going. Then we do just 20 minutes of a little training. And then if you're at a coffee shop with someone, you would break off and co-work or network. Or because in Mighty Networks, you'll be able to break off and network with people yourself as well. Or just get some work done if you're on your own. So it's also a date with yourself if you don't have someone to meet with.
It's a great premise. It works really well. And, it also helps us build that social connection, whether it's online, but it kind of feels like we're together, And I think that a lot of these days we send so many emails and texts, we don't have that opportunity to connect face to face. Oh,
I got some crows at my house. Sorry about that.
It's time to wake up.
That's too funny. Plus, also in regards to the ladies' meeting, because it's you guys just on here, it's a way to diversify our network and bring more people into your businesses as well, and introduce them to you. So, because this is basically the bottom of a pyramid of a really broad network, it can be men, it can be women, it can be people just sitting in a coffee shop, it can be anybody basically can join. And the first 1,000 people into the network will join for free, and then we'll do a very low barrier of $20 a year, so that there is some accountability, and it'll pay for the Mighty Network that I'm paying for. And what it does is bring people in without the distraction of a Facebook group and things like that as well. So I don't know how many, you guys have both been in Mighty Networks. It's so nice when you're in there. You're just in there without any distractions, which I'm really loving. It's just shutting out the, when I'm working on stuff like that, there's just nothing popping up in my sidebar, nothing. And as well, no one's tracking your conversations.
interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. You do go down the rabbit hole of social media on Facebook, I find, because the ads pop up on the right-hand side, or, you get these notifications pushed out to you and things like that.
Yeah, or you're talking about the most random weird thing you've never mentioned before, but then it shows up in your advertising, right? Has anyone had that happen on Facebook? You're in private messenger app.
Yeah, there's lots
Bouncy castles.
And then
Bouncy
you're
castles.
getting advertising for, yeah, exactly. And then you're getting advertising for bouncy castles. So,
And a lot of people that I'm finding in real estate are moving away from Facebook because of the security concerns. So, it would be nice, if this kind of Mighty Network works out, I may create my own real estate Mighty Network of my clients so that they can feel more comfortable about posting directly to me. Right now it's through email communication, but a lot of people don't even like Gmail anymore. So it's quite funny how we connect. We may go back to the old fashioned phone and just talk to each other too, that type of thing. But for speed and ease of video conferencing, Zoom meeting is really good. And these Mighty Networks might be my path.
well, because Mighty Networks will let you incorporate all of this stuff that we're talking about. Incorporate. So, for example, if you haven't been onto our private group page, I'm able to go and upload a couple documents, tag them as onboarding stuff. And so you can be like, hey, yeah, come to my Mighty Networks. I've put you into a private group of everyone who's just thinking about moving to Whistler but wants to know more. So it also helps you with pre-qualifying someone as well. I was talking to Jen last week, and she's, because she's, kept booking all these coffee meetings, and she's running out of time to have coffee meetings with people. But now she's finally gotten to the point where she's pre-qualifying people before she's meeting them, right? So like, here's my questionnaire. So you can put that, for example, you can say, you know what, I've got this survey, you can do it. Here's my Mighty Network. So it's not on something that's out in the public, but it also gets them into your network where they can get notifications, you can update them, you can send them listings. And especially with Jen, she's dealing with private documents. My car dealer, for example, he sent me, I just bought a cute little Ford Focus.
Oh,
I haven't got it yet. I get to pick it up on Sunday in Whistler, in Kamloops. But there's one page that he wouldn't email me because it's got all my social. I'm like, what is page 1 of 2? I've just signed this document 2 of 2, but because I totally trust you, which maybe not so smart. But I'm like, what is page 1 of 2? I've just signed page 2 of 2. And it's like, oh, it had all your private information on it. Whereas if he had sent me that through Mighty Networks, it's an encrypted, it's a safe space, right? So Donna, what are you up to today?
Is Donna?
Okay, I'm back. So a little bit of this morning, and then I got another conference. Well, it's more an information thing because I'm going to that World Domination Summit at the end of January. I know, doesn't that sound amazing? So I will miss, I'm like 199% sure I'll miss the next ladies meeting because it is right at the end of June. So anyways, there's another, the first information session about that summit. And so I'm kind of excited because they're really involving people ahead of time. Mm-hmm. getting them to, in addition to the summit, creating meetups and getting together and that kind of stuff. So
What was the
I'm
topic again?
supposed to be practicing giving high fives wherever I can. And I don't know, there was one other thing. So I must get on that bandwagon and start practicing. Other than that, I'm writing a speech. I joined Toastmasters only because I ran into somebody and she was in this group. And again, it's a Zoom meeting. I don't know what that meant, but anyway.
Rio just joined Toastmasters as well.
Oh, nice, nice. So this one is online, which is great. Don't have to go anywhere. Small group of people. And I guess the highlight is that the members get way more opportunity to talk or, you know, to do their speeches because it is just a small group. So tomorrow I'm doing my icebreaker. So I must practice that today. So that's my day.
Congratulations. The icebreaker speech that I did, I ended up getting an ice cube tray as a reward.
As a-
really cute.
As a prop.
Yeah, and there must be something in the air about Toastmasters. I think because of the total failure of their last launch of their conversion over to their pathways. I actually have one of the corporate members from Toastmasters wanting to talk to me on the phone about their, you know, why I quit, because it was just the transfer over. You couldn't figure anything out online. Hopefully it's easier now, but you couldn't get into you were supposed to be picking pathways and you couldn't download anything. You couldn't achieve anything. You couldn't document anything. It was so frustrating. I just walked away.
And I did Toastmasters for 10 years on Vancouver Island in Nanaimo, and you advance through the different levels of books, and it is extremely helpful. In fact, I got my teaching career for 10 years through BC Real Estate Association because of Toastmasters. So,
wonderful.
You know, even though it is frustrating, and I'm glad that they're reaching out to members who were frustrated and quit, because it's essentially a fantastic, low-cost, engaging experience. And I find it fascinating that you're going to do it online. I think that's really cool. And then creating that sort of network of people through that organization. It's a huge international, you know, it's in 90 countries or something. It's massive, you know, and I follow them on LinkedIn and I keep in touch with a lady that is in Victoria is going to be the president of Toastmasters next year. Like they have a rotational president, and she's from Victoria or Vancouver. Very inspiring lady called Margaret Page. If you follow her on LinkedIn. But I'm happy for you, Donna. That's a great experience.
Well, I think it's wonderful that they're allowing that to happen on Zoom as well, because that was part of my frustration, is that I went there before I started doing as many podcasts as I do now. And nobody wanted to be on, none of the members, because they were all, you know, just didn't want to be on social media, didn't want their picture taken. They wanted promotion, they wanted to grow the group, but they really didn't want to do anything about it. You know, so I was stuck trying to do this promo with no faces. You know, it's like, okay, so you guys they didn't really want to be public speakers. They wanted to come and socialize, which, you know, so that was a bit of a challenge. So the fact that you're doing it online and using a medium that is, for some people, you know, just getting on video is not really comfortable. Right. So it's a great way to build that into just everyday life and doing it for Toastmasters, because being online, for example, like I've been criticized, which I have a really hard time with, is where I should look on the screen. Like you should look up at certain spots. And you'll start to, and one of the best classes I ever took was with, I'm going to forget his name. I want to say Marcus, but that's not his name. And it was a two or 3 day course, but we got our videos set. We had to sit and critique. We had our videos critiqued by the class, and that was because I do this head bobbing thing, right, where I bob my head while I'm talking, and so it makes you really conscious of the things that you do while you're talking because you're being videoed. And so in the Toastmasters, where there was no feedback like that, after I'd already gone really deep and I wanted to go to the next, it was really challenging.
Oh, yeah, no, I think that a big part of it is the feedback, right? So this group has that structure all built into it.
That sounds so wonderful.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and when looking at Chirito's video the other day, the one you did in the store, where
Yeah.
you were going to drop off some product to a lady and her son. I thought that was such an engaging video. And, you were mentioning that you were nervous doing those and you just went out and did it. And I was so proud of you. I was like, Anissa's and encouraging us to get out there. And I'm going to post on the ladies meeting today a video that I did with a staging company here in Whistler. And it's my first YouTube. And I was just having some challenges downloading it this morning. So I'll get it up there on our group so that we could evaluate it together whenever you guys have time. I'd appreciate it.
Wonderful.
And
Where do we find it?
I'm going to try and upload it when I'm back to the office this afternoon. I was having some trouble at home. I'm using a program called Filmora. It's through Microsoft. It's a video editing program. And then I'm using Adobe Spark to create the lead-in page. And I'm going to promote it on social media this afternoon. So I'll send it to you late first, and then I'll send it onto the masses. Because, as they say, video is and getting online is 90% of the people are searching for real estate online is what our statistics tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you got 3 of us who will all like your page and share it.
Yeah. And it's just it's fun becoming moving through our project. It was my goal to launch my YouTube channel by the end of this month. So thank you, Anissa, for pushing us to do those kind of things.
Well, and I find when I teach it, I learn more too, right? Because I have to go in and go, is that true?
Yeah.
More importantly, has that changed? Because I've been on YouTube and taken the training, but there's always new training and always new things to learn. And Chirito, so you've joined Toastmasters as well, and we have a theme. And you also volunteered to be treasurer.
Well, actually, Laura Kingdom, she's the president of the Toastmasters. I just decided to actually show up on the day that they were doing nominations. And so I was actually asked as a guest to speak up in public about what the role of a treasurer was. And it was like so perfect because it would be the role that I would choose to volunteer for. And so I also called an action. This is the job that I would want to volunteer for. And when it came around, they didn't think I was serious. And I said, yeah, I'm signing up today and I'm going to be treasurer. And they're like, what? And I literally paid my membership at the bank, deposit it as a treasurer, and then handed over the debit card to me in like the day, like immediate massive action.
Thumbs up for you. That's awesome.
Yeah. I just felt like a synergy with the people in the room, and I just went for it. Like I just felt like I had a connection with every single one. So I just went for it.
Commitments to yourself this week, because you also committed to be part of our mastermind group with the ladies meeting. So.
Yes. There you go.
Good for you. I think it's amazing.
So where does your Toastmaster meeting group get together, Chirito?
International Village in Vancouver.
Nice.
Near TNT, like outside of Chinatown.
Right.
So it's very close to where I live. I live in the Mount Pleasant area.
Is there still a co-working space there? Is it upstairs?
I'm not sure. I didn't really look that far. I was like laser focused. So.
Right. Yeah. When I was managing a building and living in it, right across, basically a few minutes walk away. And there was a group that started this beautiful co-working space, but I don't know if it ended up surviving or not.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I wasn't even paying attention if it was there or not anymore, because it is upstairs and it looks like an office, but it's not an office. And it's like an open space with a bunch of desks. It's not your usual co-working space, but
did it have wooden tree tables? I don't know, that sounds weird, but natural wood tables.
I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know for sure. But anyway, yeah. So that was kind of the commitment, and we were talking yesterday, Anissa, about because it's actually month end today. So today is 31st. So I've actually got a big push. So yesterday I made like a half an hour. Jocelyn and I were doing some co-working online together, and I decided to just not look at the computer and just start making my phone calls. So just a short period of time, 30 minutes, I did $1,000 worth in sales by picking up the phone and just going one at a time. I mean, there are people that were like, oh, Trita's calling to ask me for something, right? So, but I was quick. I said, just letting you know, just in case you didn't see the email. And by the way, how's your diffuser doing? Because I want to also provide value and not just to sell. And if you haven't cleaned your diffuser in a while, I'm just going to let you know this is how you clean it. And they're like, oh, thank you. So, so that was good, good to do. I was also really trying to figure out my branding. So that's a big one for me, because there's the chef, then there's the environmental engineer. So kind of like which direction I go. So the environmental engineer can talk about toxic-free living and all that kind of stuff. But my passion is actually consuming these essential oils and these alchemy of desserts that don't even have cheese in it, but it tastes like cheesecake with lemon essential oil in it, and Grand Marnier chocolate mousse that has no Grand Marnier in it, or Greyhound that has no grapefruit juice in it. So yeah, because I am passionate about, because last night I was with a bunch of a mixer for Norwex people. I was talking about my product that I like to talk about is the wool dryer balls and bounce dryer sheets. And they're like, do you have a background in something? And I said, well, I'm an environmental engineer. You're so passionate about talking about chemical exposure and this and that. And then there's me like dissecting the coconut curry that's on the stove. It's like, I think there's lentils in here, and so there's like the two parts of me that I'm like, okay, which direction did I go on the kind of social media branding? The thing is, not everyone is cooking with essential oils, but the reason why I'm so passionate about living kind of a natural lifestyle is the toxic overload that's happening, and I can talk a lot about that. So that's kind of right now I'm going like, oh, what's going on with, do I go in this direction or this direction? I mean, I can do both. But when you hand out like brochures and print material and what's different about Trito, it's the cooking part, and the fact that I'm actually educated about talking about this stuff about toxic free rather than just kind of spouting off facts.
I'm thinking, from what you've been saying, I'm kind of getting the feeling that you're right. A lot of the public will be more interested in the taste sensations, and the essential oil passion that you have just comes through every time that you're talking. And maybe creating a blog that backs up with your environmental engineering accreditations and sort of knowledge that you can direct people to if they want further advice. But a lot of people, like you say, are more about the tactile, it depends on the type of learner you're working with, the type of person you're working with, is, having the avenues of having your scientific side still allowing people to go and say, yep, you know what, she's saying exactly what she's passionate about and shared with me, and now I can dig deeper. And also when you go to give public speaking presentations on your business, you can direct the group or organization to that blog page or podcasts or scientific accreditation page. You know what I mean? But have your main marketing focused towards your passion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually started using something called Linktree as well.
Linktree.
If you go to my Instagram and Issa Kane, you'll see it, just because I have, what it lets me do is post events that I'm going to, or the coffee house meeting, the ladies meeting events, but then also my LinkedIn. It doesn't get you stuck anywhere. You want to see what events are going on, what my qualifications are, what my companies are. It's a great
Linktree.
Yeah, I started actually. That's what Sandra Yancey was using.
Because Instagram only allows one link in your bio, but you're not even allowed links within your posting. So you have to redirect them to your bio, and then
and so that's
only
what
one
I
link
about Linktree is it doesn't limit you to how many links you have. It's literally a link to whatever that person is looking for about you. So they can either find your main website, they can find your LinkedIn, they can find your Twitter, your Facebook, their Instagram, whatever their mode of transport is on the internet.
That's so good.
Yeah, and that I'm really grateful that Sandra Yancey was using it. 3 out of 4 of us were at her conference, was it 2 weeks ago now? And really learned a lot just from her talk and how she's presenting herself, because I find a lot of things that were kind of synergistic between our, obviously she's really big, but just the way she's gone about things I really, really enjoyed as well. So what I'm going to do, there might be a lady pop in. Her name is Sally. She might pop in and listen in because she hasn't been with us before. She's a really good friend here in Whistler. Maybe she'll join us live next time as well. So if you see her pop in, give her a little wave hello. And what I'll do is I'm going to go through the slides that I created here. It's just a pretty short presentation, and I would love some feedback as to what part of it is helpful to you. And then it will also become a video in part of our training as well. So I'm just going to share my screen, and it's still in a bit of a rough format, but it's good to have a deadline, right?
This is so cool. I'm learning all about Zoom meetings and sharing screens.
Yeah.
It's a good platform.
And I think one of the reasons I quite often will go listen to other people's trainings because I learn what they're doing and what they're using. So I've taught Kathy how to use Spark Post, but this is actually Spark Video. So as much as I'm going to give you some of the content out of here, this is in its rough format. But here's the cool parts is you'll see that this is broken down into little screenshots, right, like you would do. But now I've recorded one, and if you can do up to about 30 seconds for each screenshot, and then it just blends them in together. So you'll hear my intro here when I hit play. Maybe. Oh.
Hold on, here it comes.
No. Oh, it didn't save it. I was having some memory issues last night. Anyway, it would, you can sit, if you hit record here, so I'm going to hit record. Welcome to the Coffee House Network, where coffee plus networking and internet equal no limits. Welcome, and we'll see you in the next blah, 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 right? So that was 9 seconds. Should play. I've created a bigger than normal file here. Let me just hit save.
I think that's the thing is time blocking some time to learn social media. Like I've been trying to set aside an hour in the morning because my day gets away from me with clients. And I find these social media programs are so they just take time. And it's setting aside that hour or two to really focus on creating. Once you've got it set up, then it's going to feel so natural. And that's the same thing with Toastmasters. You kind of, once you get into it, it becomes a natural part of your life. I find these social platforms, find one that works for you and then just give it time. And that's, from doing, there's a book called Sociable. And he says, give social media at least 8 months. Give your website, get it up there. Done is better than perfect. Get it up, give it 8 months for people to engage with you and then refine. And then if it's not working by the end of the year, get rid of that platform or give yourself 2 years, But Anise has introduced us to so many great social media platforms. It's just finding the one that works for you. And video is a big part of it.
Well, what I love about this video is I've actually created stuff for, Sharita, we can hear your keyboard really loud. Is I've actually created videos that are up on the Whistler Resort Municipality page just off of my phone because the sound, when I was working at Transit, because the sound on it, just doing it in the first aid room actually worked really well. And I was creating little videos just from this program. Let's see if this works now. Oh, it still hasn't recorded, isn't it weird? Okay, well, normally you can just record your voice over there and then you would add to the next one and add to the next one. So I'm just gonna quickly record this presentation for you. So you'll be able to watch this again later. So are you wondering the value of taking time to write a blog anymore? So something we've done with the Coffee House Network is the first one that we did was with Anita, and went over a little bit about what you need to do to create a blog. And then also we had Adam last time, who I guided through doing the beginning of his blog, and I'm going to show him here a little bit later. The value of the blog has not gone away. In fact, the value is even increased, because the goal is to always get people to your website. So your business is your passion, but sometimes taking that and getting it onto the internet doesn't always translate. You know, you've invested all this time into your business, all this social media, and sometimes I think people miss the point that your blog is where you need to get people to, your blog/website. And I'm going to cover a little bit the difference between a blog and a website, because there really is there's a funny line, and I hope that I've described it here a little bit better, where the variation comes as well. But basically, your website is food for any of your social media if it's set up properly. And in our next video after this, I'm going to show you how you're going to create that content by for example, what Kathy's done. She's created a video now that she's going to be able to break down into little tiny pieces and feed out to all of her little, if you see on the screen here, all these little social media things that she's going to be able to feed now with that one video. And what we're going to do is break down a little bit how she can do that as well. I guess we'll use that as a special example. Once they see it, it'll give me some inspiration. Okay. So if you want to be found by the Google, it helps to have a website with a blog and not just social media. So you've seen a lot of people really depend on Facebook, on their Facebook groups, on making sure that they're all over social media, but they've forgotten the point that it's to get them all to feed their website and to get those emails. Email marketing still is where you want to get people to, because if you don't have a way to hold back up with people and follow up with people, you still just don't have what you need to build a really strong business, repeat clients, build the know, like, and trust, and really have people want to build a relationship with you and learn about them as well, because it's not just about you, obviously. So I hope that by the end of this, you're going to want to make some videos, and this will be, I love this sign. This is the sign that you've been looking for. I have a really good friend who actually did some of the, if you've ever seen the neon signs downtown Vancouver, she was actually one of my art professors at UFV. And so neon lights always catch my eye, and the fact that I know that she designed them as well. Not this one in particular, because they are the sayings that she's put up are little signs sometimes to our humanity. And what are we doing to look around to see what signs will light people up about our business? What little thing can we do to light people up and bring them into our business, into our social media, and then eventually onto our website? And depending on whether you have a brick and mortar store or you do events, you're going to really see the value in blending them together. So what are you doing, for example, not just checking in and taking a selfie, but making it more about the client and what can you do to benefit them when you're out at an event and share your network with them and show the value in your business. So there is a marketing rule that has never changed, but people seem to have forgotten about, which is the rule of 7, which is that you need 7 to 10, I always say 7 to 10 touches with your client. And we don't really talk about it as much, but I'm noticing people are bringing back the conversation about it. Because it used to be you needed a billboard, you needed an ad in the newspaper, you needed to put a piece of paper in someone's mailbox, you needed to do a phone call with them, and you might have needed a word of mouth piece. And give me one more.
Testimonial.
A testimonial or word of mouth. What would one more thing, old school advertising, be?
Doing a trade show.
Trade show, or an advertisement in the Yellow Pages as well. So that might have been your 7 touches that someone knew that you were a really dependable dealership or a shop, or would have found a really easy way to know that they could trust you, that you were going to be in business for the next 10 years. And now it's not harder. It's actually easier to make those 7 touches. And one of the slides I wanted to add in here, though, is the jam experiment. Has anyone else heard of the jam experiment?
Nope.
Okay, so there's the rule of 7, but there's also the jam experiment where if you were to put out 10 or 15 kinds of jam and someone's walking by in a sales function at a grocery store and you were like wanted to give them a tester, no one will stop and test or buy. But if you're putting out 3 pots of jam, more people will stop, make a decision, and buy. Same thing goes for dishwashers. If you were to give someone 7 decisions to make about different dishwasher, they won't make a decision upon reading each manual, finding out if one is deep enough for wine glasses, one has a food destroyer at the bottom, like a carburetor, depending on their lifestyle and the dishwasher that they need. Maybe they need an ultra quiet one. They'll just pick one because 7 is too much to make a really educated decision. But if they have 3 to pick from, they'll take time to read through the manual and make the best decision for their home. And sometimes it really doesn't even have anything to do with price, surprisingly. They just want to get the job done, right? So that's where the rule of 7 and the jam experiment kind of collide, because even though now you've got an easier way to make your 7 touches, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Google AdWords, YouTube, doing a presentation, word of mouth, but now you have the contradiction of the jam experiment where they've got too many decisions to make that choice from. So it's a matter of how are you going to get through that static that's been created by all of the other advertising and things online. And one of the ways to do that is by really setting yourself apart. And like Kathy said, having that 1 or 2 year goal of working on your platforms, following up with people, and thinking of the rule of 7, because it will set you apart because of your consistency with it. So Donna going out and doing her talk, or even just being, Toastmasters is also a form of networking. It can be a great place for people to get new business leads as well, as long as you don't go in that way, right? We had a couple join our Toastmasters, and it was just like, we already know what you want to sell us, and we know you're not going to last, because they came in to push their product hard, and they were gone in 6 weeks because nobody bought anything from them, right? Which, I mean, that it's just not going to work. They stuck around for a year, worked on their presentation skills, which they came in kind of like they didn't know anything, but it was like they were such pros at presentation. It was kind of intimidating and strange. So there was, you have to be so authentic, because people nowadays can just, we've all, our relationship building is on a high that at our bullshit meter is so high. And especially in the ladies meeting the group, we're building our intuition as well, and learning to go with our guts faster, because even just when we're reading in blocks. And so just everything is faster. We don't do 5 and 7 year goals anymore. We do 2 year goals, because 5 and 7 years is like an entire lifetime away, versus a 1 and a 2 year goal. In corporate now, you're doing 2 year goals, because they know they're not going to hold on to those millennials for more than 2 years. They need to have those people reach their goals and find some achievement within a much shorter time if they want to keep them around and move them up the ladder. So, rule of 7. So to make your sale, customers need to see you 7 times. And I love these. There's so many new terminals and new ways for people to take money as well. So something to consider is, are you making it really easy for people to pay you? Cranked Coffee Works that we go to, they've got this beautiful new terminal just like this, where it's just like, oh, it's not the old school Moneris, put it in, where do I do with it? It's just like tap, done. I'm pretty sure it does even more things that it says on it.
I think that's, is that Square? That's Square.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea, Charito and Donna, for your mobile businesses, because for real estate, we have to take trust checks. So we can't do this. But for a retail business, I can see this as being very cool.
Mm-hmm. And I was talking with Charito yesterday about making it easy for people to buy. So, for example, if she always has her starter kit of oils with her.
I like your starter kit. I saw it online.
It's interesting, the transition of my speaking ability in 6 months.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's a old video. Yeah.
Just having the ability for people to just walk away with your product, even though you're don't have a brick and mortar store. I was using an example of a friend who used to sell makeup, and I was just like, why do I have to order your makeup online when you have it at home in stock, right? Yeah. Why don't you just have little kits of the mascara and the eyeliner with you at all times? Because I just want to buy it now. I'll give you my money right now. Why aren't you making it easy for me to buy from you, right? So make it easy for customers to purchase. And for example, as well, I have somebody, I said, hey, can I order this product? Can you post the link up to your profile in the ladies meeting so I can buy it? And she's like, oh, no, I'll save you the money for shipping and stuff like that. And I was like, no. Like, and then she didn't do it. And it's like, I would have already bought and ordered and paid for it if I knew what link to purchase it from. Because I don't want these certain chemicals in my dishwasher and stuff like that, right? So make it easy for people. If someone says they want to buy something, let them buy it online. If they want to pay the shipping, let them pay it, right? Like, don't put up barriers to people wanting to buy from you, because I already said I want to buy something, and it's 2 weeks later and I still have no idea where to go buy it. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That's Anissa makes a fantastic point there. Make it as easy as possible for people to connect with you and then to pay you. And then to get on your list of follow-ups. And then you create prospective buyers. Like I have ABCD clients, the ones that are going to act within a month or two, others that are going to be a little bit longer and need more connection. My A clients are my repeat clients. So maybe creating a date, like you're starting an engine with your business. And just like Anissa and we all do in our businesses, is prioritizing how people like to be followed up. Using the platforms they like to use, and then also creating those really engaging ways of here's what I can do for you, and here's how you can pay me quickly.
Yes. So how many people have make it really easy to do that? Like, Donna, I know you're still setting up, but if someone wants to hire you right away, have you got a way to do that yet?
Well, we just talk and we book an appointment.
And they just pay, they e-transfer a payment to you?
Money? I haven't collected any of that yet.
So that's, and that's a vision thing, that you are worthy of being paid for your expertise. And, it's easy to set up a PayPal account, I guess. Yep. And is that how people pay? I think I paid you by e-transfer. Yep. Even if it's just an e-transfer, but on your website, it could be pay me by e-transfer, pay me through PayPal.
Or what I also use is it's a little bit of a net, but Zoho invoicing. It's free. It's pretty easy to use. I think it depends on how many clients. I have too many clients contacts in there now, so I think I pay $12 a month. But it lets me do my billing, which what it does when it sends the invoice out, it lets people pay by PayPal, credit card. It gives them an option of if they want to write a check even, or email. It just lets me give them every single option to pay. If they want to pay right away, or if they, I always say like how they can give me cash as well. Totally leaves the options open.
So it's called Zoho?
Zoho, Zoho.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But then it also lets me build my expenses and stuff, everything in there, all in one spot. And then you can buy modules as well for it. But I've just gotten down to the 2 modules, the CRM, which is always free. So unlike, for example, Salesforce or what's the other one? If you don't keep up your payments with it, you have to get your database out. Whereas with Zoho, they've promised that the CRM will always be free, which means it's just always in the safe place to keep your database, which I love. And they have tons of apps on your phone, so it makes it super, super easy. I can't say enough about Zoho. I've been with them for years and years and years. Like, I've built my database there, and then I've gone and tried Salesforce and Infusionsoft, and there's another one in between there. I can't think of what it is. And then, when you're, if I change projects, it's like, well, this isn't really paying for itself, so it doesn't make sense to pay $200 a month for this. I used to teach people Infusionsoft, got so frustrated with the company and walked away from it. And it's like, Zoho's just always been there for me.
It's like I used to use Maximizer 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Infusionsoft, I can see how it could frustrate people.
Well, I mean, it's $200 a month.
Yeah.
And for a small business, which was their target market at the time, I put a mortgage. They were like, think I'll remortgage my house. I'm going to take a loan against my house to get Infusionsoft for the year so I can pay for it ahead of time. I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy. I teach this stuff and it's not worth it.
Isn't it great learning all these wonderful websites and Linktree? I'm going to try that one today. I mean, and we'll let her, Nisa carry on with her training.
So what I find, and as you guys have experienced as well, is mixing up brick and mortar space. So it doesn't mean you have to have a storefront. But for example, the fact that we've come to Kathy's office today at Engel and Volker in
Engel and
Volker in Whistler, which is an international real estate office. The fact that we're mixing that up, we're showing off where Kathy works a little bit. And maybe next time we have an even bigger boardroom. Maybe one day we can use that. We'll get
a few people joining
a few
us.
people, and we'll get our proper little podcasting mics, which we keep saying we're going to order for Epic Lifestyles, which we'll get back to. We have a podcast that we do called Epic Lifestyles, and it's on epiclifestyles.ca, where we interview people coming through Whistler doing amazing, unusual things. But for example, as well, Adam, he's going to mix up his bike and teaching people how to take care of their bikes and that, but he's thinking about when he goes back to Czech Republic, doing bike tours, for example. So he's going to be blending real life events and people in with online marketing, just like both of you guys are doing, Donna and Sharito and Kathy. So doing that public speaking component. And, you know, one of the parts that I'm going to do is actually for our private group, you'll be able to have a template for your speakers. I just blanked out on the word.
Speakers Bureau or speakers?
Yeah, your resume.
Profile?
Speaker profile resume. We'll be building those as well together so that if someone asks you to speak, you're totally ready. And you're also going to have to update it every time you grow your social media, because part of the thing that people look at when they hire a speaker now is their social media profile. So do they have 10,000 people on Twitter and LinkedIn and that? But don't mix that up with the effect you can have even if you don't have a lot of followers either. So I was talking to one of our yoga instructors, for example, the other day, who she's like, but I only have 200 followers on Instagram. I'm like, that doesn't matter, because if you check in here and we use the hashtag Whistler, people are searching for the word Whistler. They don't have to be following you. So there's still a lot of misconceptions as to how many people can see you versus how many followers you have and things like that. So it's kind of interesting. I check in, for example, on a program called Swarm, and it connects me with people internationally, and they can see if I've left a review. So, for example, the fact that I left a review for Chorrito's Oils, that is marketing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and you'll notice that someone else in our group also, Andrea asked for some reviews for her Google, what's the word I'm looking for?
Google Maps, Google site.
Google Maps, yeah, Google review. So doing things like that, it's not just about the review that you leave, but it means that you're being seen back, and also you're now even more searchable as well. So there's a two parts to that, and it's Google Maps. So you're, again, under the same topic, mixing up brick and mortar, because that's a map, with your business as well. So leaving a trail as well, which goes along with the bikes, I didn't realize. Leave a trail. Basically, leave a trail on the internet that makes you really easy to find as well. You'll know a lot of you have seen that I've switched my last name to Anissa Jane, just because it's letting me leave a trail, but also my mom's like, what are you doing? You don't like your name? I'm like, well, I'm just creating a level of privacy as well for myself, but still, it's making me feel really confident about being open about being on the internet as well, with dealing with the privacy issues too, because now no one really needs to know my last name that goes with my banking versus my online name and that presence that I'm creating. So there's and it makes it more fun too, right? So, and it's also my Starbucks name. So when I go to Starbucks, I just use the word Jane, which is just Denise and nobody else. So it's kind of fun. So what are you doing to leave that trail online and brick and mortar at locations and events, and making sure, like, when you come out to the Ladies Meet Sylvia Hotel, check in on the Facebook page, event page, check in at the hotel, leave a review for the hotel. Hey, I was at the ladies meeting at the hotel today, had a great time, service was amazing. We're going to get better service by leaving that review. They're going to want to have us there. Hopefully they'll see more benefit to us being there. And then, for example, when one of you want to go and rent the conference room, well, maybe you get that better deal. Hey, I come here every month to the ladies meeting. How much is the conference room? I heard maybe we get a deal, right? And sometimes they've given it to us for free because we bring so many people for lunch. Doesn't always happen, but you can see that leaving that paper trail, leaving those reviews, letting people know what events you're at, for example. It can be that presence without being like a selfie, right? Because, you know, sometimes people are doing a little too much selfies, you know, because it's like, yeah, I get that you're everywhere, but maybe there's a more subtle way to be everywhere. Mix it up a little.
That's interesting.
Mm.
Yep.
Because I think, yeah, I mean, selfies are great. They're fun. But I think there's a more subtle way to actually have more for your business as to what you can, because it's really about what you do for other people and showing people what you can do for them. So, for example, if you're coming out to the ladies' meeting, you could leave a review and say, hey, if you'd like to be my guest next time, why don't you come out? So A, you're giving someone a discount on their ticket. B, you're helping someone else build their business and their network, which means you're also going to get to know them better. And you get to hang out with them for a bit, and they'll help you build your network. So there's a real win-win there, right?
Yeah, and I think that's where that link tree will be also very good. Is because as people get more online with all the security and all the sort of fake news out there, they're going to look to you to be an authentic and well-rounded person online. Your social footprint, as they say, is going to be provable. You know what I mean? And you'll have people giving you testimonials, and you won't need to spend much money on advertising because they will really have connected with you deeply on the platforms and through experiential knowledge of that you are legit. Do you know what I mean? Like you're setting up those foundational networks right now, Anissa, where years from now you'll be like that lady that we went to see on May the 16th, you know?
Well, and I'm just going to use an example of just to show some of the work that Kathy has done and for myself, and then we can use Sharito as an example as well. We're just going to go for 5 more minutes here. But if I put in, let's try real estate Whistler. Oh, that didn't work. Let's go. Angle and vocal Whistler.
Angle means angels and Vokers means people.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, this is a different view that's coming up. When I put this in last time, Kathy's name actually came up before her business name, which was really interesting. It's not happening now, though. But
if you click on that photo right there.
Yeah.
That's where you guys were sitting earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then I think that one will click through to does that click through to my website? Anyways, that's my photo of the front of the office. So how Google, I've been uploading images to Google, and that's also been pulling me up higher in the rankings. And I'm also on Google Maps, and that too helps people locate me is through Google Maps. So if you have a Google profile, I would suggest really working on it and updating it on a regular basis, because that's the search engine's pulling me up organically.
Hi, is it Maggie?
This is Layla.
Layla, there we go. Hi, Layla. We have a little puppy here. She's really beautiful. Anyway, here's an example of how Kathy's coming up really, really well right here. Not just her business location, but it comes up that she actually has that brick and mortar spot, which makes it super easy for people to find her. But I know there's a time here where I actually just put in real estate Whistler, and she showed up above Angle and Vocal's name as well, which was really interesting.
Yeah, it's good to Google your name occasionally and find out where you land in the organic searches. I don't do any Google advertising, which I will do in the future when I get my social footprint out there. My goal is to have that done by the end of the summer.
Awesome.
So,
well, and right here, I want to show you how, I don't know.
That's my older website.
Okay, but the point is, the goal is to be the first page of Whistler, of Google. So you can see her image, she has an image that actually comes up on the first page, which is amazing. And the goal is to have that whole first page, right? So for example, when I go and put in Anissa Jane, Anissa is really hard because it's super popular. I have a Bratz doll that's named after me. There's a Bratz doll named Anissa. Anyway, so that's a challenge. We've got a major brand playing against you.
Yeah, I actually appreciate my unusual name now because of that. Because you say churrito anywhere, they're like, is it the raw food chef or is that the engineer?
Oh,
It's easy.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a memorable name.
Yeah.
So for example, here now, I basically take up all my photos. These are from my book. There's my Facebook profile. There's a ladies meeting profile. This is at Camp Coffee in Whistler. This is the book publication. This is from another meetup that we did quite a few years ago. You know, so it's like, the goal is to get up. There's YouTube, there's LinkedIn, there's my home production page. And I think I get up to page 3 before it starts to disintegrate. Oh, but here you go. You've got Andrea Turner. So now I go, it's even carrying on to the podcasts, people that I've promoted, Epic Lifestyle, Slow Pod. So this is on page 3 of Google. And it starts to just disintegrate. So Anissa Villa, that's not me. Not me. So if you can get to page 1 or 2, I mean, this is after years, so it takes work, right? But now getting back to what Kathy was saying as well about uploading photos to Google, and that all really important. And I'm going to quickly just whip through the end of here so we can all get off the line on time. So luckily now it's much easier to be able to be seen by your customer, but on the other hand, it can make it more confusing, like I was talking about with the jam. And you've got to put together that puzzle to find out how you can stand out to your best customer as well, and find out what they want in a format that engages them and keeps their attention. And that goes to what Kathy was saying, is you've got to do some testing and some marketing. And when you're out at events, asking what people use, like just say, hey, I've got a little verbal survey. What's your favorite platform? Like if you just asked 5 people today, what's your favorite platform that you know are already customers, it's going to help you make that decision faster on what you need to work on this week. And it might be different next month, right? There might be something new. The latest trend has also been about storytelling. And in the next video that we do next week, I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can use storytelling on your website and your blog. And so basically, your blog is where you're going to tell stories and you're going to engage your customer and talk about different ways that they're going to see themselves as your customer, as your best customer, they're going to identify, versus the website part is going to be collecting basic information, letting people know how to use your product, not necessarily in a story format, but very functional, very direct. If I just want to contact you, I want to be able to go to your website, find your contact information, or I had this watch, I was looking for the warranty, I was looking for the instructions on how to use one of the buttons, right? I don't need a story for that, I just want the information right now. And that's where, if you want to define the difference between a website, and then of course now I'll get into, we have the funnels as well, which is a little bit different. And when you get to your blog portion, then you want to take a consideration of whether they're a visual learner, an auditory learner, and there are 4 types of learning styles, but they don't all apply necessarily to a blog. But then now, and this is where I'd like to take the Coffee House Network as well, is getting into kinesthetic learners, where we can be meeting in person. We can have virtual networks with it, like the VR is really cool. Virtual reality coffee meeting would be amazing. I know, I dream big. Maybe I'm crazy, whatever.
No, it's really good.
Or you might be giving them an app to download so that they've got something to interact with about your business. So maybe it's a survey or something that just really deeply engages them, which is hard over the internet. It's a challenge, right? But like for Churrito, she could be like, go to your stove, go to your cupboard and find 3 things that you absolutely turn you on, right? Because that's kinesthetic. That's having someone go and do something and touch something, right? Even though you've written it on their blog. And I think one of the coolest things I've learned this week is ask people what gets them excited, like what gets them thrilled. And then the one page that a lot of people are using today is called a funnel, which is basically often when people get to, if someone's built a sales funnel, they've often done a webinar or something. You're already, I don't know if anyone else does this, but when I get to a funnel, I just flip to the bottom because I already know that what they're selling, why they're selling it. I don't want to read all the bumps in between, and I get down to what does it cost? Anybody else do that? Yeah, when I get to a web funnel, generally you're already sold, right? So, and I always just say it's a fire hose of information that I don't want, nobody really wants a fire hose. So next week, what we're going to do is go over what should go on a blog. So a lot of people don't know what to start writing. So Adam was one of those people. And I literally gave him this blank piece of paper and said, come back tomorrow with the top 10 questions that people ask you about bikes. And he did. He literally came back the next day and did that. And what we're going to go over next week is how you can take those 10 questions and those different ways of interacting, those ways people will learn about your business, visual, kinesthetic, and
Auditory.
And how you can use that to really engage your customer in their own learning style so they're going to really deeply connect with you. So that's what we're going to do next week. I'm going to show, for example, well, maybe we'll use Kathy's as an example of the video that she did today and how we can integrate it into a blog post that will engage people in those 3 different ways. So,
or yeah, and maybe a couple of other examples from your work as well. That would be great if you want to send those along to Anissa. I think getting some other postings, and Donna, the working on our websites and things like that. I really recognize now that our websites, getting it out there and using it and just getting it out to the world, because you have such a wonderful message. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And, I know it's a good foundation from there for you, for your business and for your public speaking. And then Charito, your videos and your meetups with people too, and maybe some testimonials from people that have used your products could be a way for us to build your blog that way. And then Donna, from your presentations, like this world domination thing, that could be a great blog. Like, I don't even know what it's about. World domination sounds pretty scary, but it's probably epic in an interesting way. So, whether it's starting with a blog, starting with a website, starting with video, start with something, and then your audience will build off that platform. And I think, Adam, case in point, is a really good, picking the 10 topics that he wants to talk about for bikes has really got him going on his business model.
Oh yeah, he set himself some goals. Actually talked to me. I stopped in at the bike shop yesterday. I went for a wander through the village, and I'm like, he's like, I can't come tomorrow. I've got too many things. I've already set myself a goal. I've got a deadline I have to meet. So I know that he was actually at Blends this morning, I suspect. I went into Starbucks, which was empty, and because I had a gift card, and Blends was just packed with people co-working. It was amazing. We'll have to go do one there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to get offline in literally 30 seconds. So I want to just reiterate my goal of trying to get our meetup group up to 1,000 people by the end of June. So if you guys know anybody who even if they can't show up right away, please ask them if they'll get on the meetup group and help us out. And I really appreciate the support.
Will you send us an email with an outline of
an invite? Yes.
An invite, and then we could forward that out to people. That would be great.
I would love that.
Okay.
Great.
Have a good day.
And well, we actually are all.
We're jumping back on.
We're going to go off. Let's all take a 5-minute break, and then we will get on to.
And I have to go show a property, so I'll catch up with you guys later. I'm sorry I can't stay on.
Okay, and I'm going to go take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to get back to more direct business goals. I'll face you guys at the artwork.
Yeah, thank you. Do you know how long it shuts? It's really weird. Sometimes it doesn't at all, and sometimes it does. But if it does, like 15 seconds. Okay. So I'll give it a go. The phone, I would say. The internet comes back and then okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The phone takes a while. Oh. At least this is it. Oh, it goes all red. Oh, yeah. Because of my Outlook. That's sorry. Yeah.